My name is Isabella, and this is my story. I grew up in a very big house with tall white walls and wide windows that let the light in. There were gardens with beautiful flowers and a fountain that sang with the wind. My family had everything: cars, drivers, cooks, and cleaners. From the outside, it looked perfect. People would often say, "Isabella, you're so lucky." And in many ways, I was. I had parents who loved me. They gave me everything I needed: the best schools, the nicest clothes, holidays in beautiful places. But sometimes, inside that big house, I felt small. The rooms were full of light, but they felt cold. I often sat alone in the library, reading stories about love, about kindness, about simple lives full of real feelings. Books became my best friends. In stories, people were honest. In stories, love was true, and I dreamed of a life like that. A simple, quiet life with real love. When I was 23 years old, my parents took me to a small art gallery in the city. They loved art, and I went with them, not expecting much. I didn't know many people there. I stood quietly in front of a painting. It was a painting of the sea, calm, peaceful, endless. Then a man came and stood beside me. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" he said. His voice was gentle. I looked at him. He had kind eyes and a soft smile. He didn't look like the others at the event. He looked real. "Yes," I said. "It makes me feel peaceful." He turned to me and smiled a little more. "My name is Marcus," he said. "I'm Isabella." And just like that, we started talking. Not about money, not about my family. We talked about the sea, about books, about how quiet moments are sometimes the most beautiful. He asked me what I liked to read, what I dreamed about, and most of all, he listened. He really listened. It felt different. Most men I met talked about business, or my father's company, or expensive things. But Marcus didn't. He talked about feelings, about small joys. He told me he worked for a small company and didn't have much money, but he loved his job. He said happiness was more important than wealth. I smiled when I heard that. It felt like he understood something many people didn't. It felt honest. We met again a week later. He invited me for coffee, not in a fancy hotel, but in a small, quiet cafe near the river. We sat for hours. We talked. We laughed. I felt like I could be myself. No pretending. No pressure. He told me I was beautiful, but in a way that felt real. He looked into my eyes, not at my clothes. He said I had a kind heart, that he liked my quiet way. I felt warm inside. I started to believe that maybe he liked me, not my family's money. We started seeing each other more often. Walks in the park, visits to museums, sitting by the water. Sometimes he paid. Sometimes I did. It felt equal. It felt like two people building something real. Eventually, I introduced him to my parents. My father was careful. He asked Marcus many questions about work, about his family, about the future. Marcus answered with calm respect. My mother smiled and said, "He seems like a good man, Isabella. He makes you happy." And he did. I smiled more when I was with him. I felt lighter, braver, hopeful. After a year, on a sunny day in the same park where we had one of our first dates, Marcus took my hand. "Isabella," he said, "I know I don't have much, but I love you. Not your house, not your money. You. Will you marry me?" Tears filled my eyes. Happy tears. This was the love I had always dreamed of. "Yes, Marcus," I whispered. "Yes." We had a beautiful wedding. My parents paid for everything. There were flowers, music, laughter. I wore a white dress that made me feel like I was floating. Marcus looked handsome in his suit. When he said, "I do," I believed him with all my heart. After the wedding, we moved into a new house. My parents bought it for us as a gift. It wasn't as big as the house I grew up in, but it was still beautiful. For the first few weeks, life felt perfect. We cooked together, listened to music, danced in the kitchen. I thought, this is it. This is the dream. But slowly, things began to change. It started small. Marcus said he wanted to quit his job. He wanted to spend more time at home. Maybe start a business. I thought it was sweet. We had enough money, I thought. My parents gave me a generous monthly allowance. Then one day, a red sports car appeared in the driveway. "Surprise," he said. "It's for us." "It's beautiful," I said, though my voice was unsure. "But how did we pay for it?" "Don't worry, my love," he said, kissing my cheek. "We deserve nice things." He started going out more, said he had meetings. He came home late, smelled like expensive restaurants. When I asked, he just said business. He also started asking more questions about my family's money. "How much is your father's company worth? Will you inherit everything?" I asked him, "Why do you want to know?" "Just planning for our future," he replied. One afternoon, I was looking for a pen in his desk. I opened a drawer. Inside, I found papers, credit card bills, loans, debts, from before our wedding, from before we met. My hands started shaking. That evening, I showed him the papers. "Marcus," I asked, "what is this?" He looked at them, then at me. His face changed. "Why were you looking through my things?" he snapped. "Don't you trust me?" "I wasn't looking," I said. "I found them by accident. Why didn't you tell me about this?" "It's old news," he said. "I'm handling it." "How?" I asked. "With our money," he said. "That's what marriage is. We share everything." His words felt cold. He started to control the money. He asked to see my bank accounts, asked me to send large amounts to his business. When I hesitated, he got angry. "Don't you support my dreams?" he'd say. "It's for us, Isabella." He criticized my friends, said they were snobs, said my family interfered too much. He wanted me to see them less. Slowly, I became isolated. I felt like a bird in a golden cage. And then one night, he came home late. He was drunk. I was sitting on the sofa, reading. "Where have you been?" I asked softly. "Out," he said, "celebrating." "Celebrating what?" "My business deal went through." "What deal?" He laughed, a cold, bitter laugh. "You don't need to know the details, little rich girl. Just know we'll soon have more money. Your father's money. I stared at him. What are you talking about? He walked toward me, his steps unsteady. Don't pretend you don't know. Why else would a man like me marry someone like you? Your family name, your family money, that's the real prize. My heart stopped. You married me for my money? I whispered. He laughed again. Of course. Did you really think it was for your charming personality? Poor naive Isabella. It felt like the world crashed down around me. Everything, our walks, our talks, his smile, his soft voice, it was all a lie, a performance. I couldn't move. I just stood there, looking at the man who broke my heart. That night, I didn't sleep in our bedroom. I locked myself in the guest room. I sat on the floor and cried. I cried for my broken heart, for my lost dream, for being so blind. The next morning, my face was pale. My eyes were red, but something had changed inside me. Anger. I called my father. My voice was shaking, but I told him everything. He was quiet. Then he said, Isabella, I'm so sorry. You are not alone. We'll handle this. He told me not to speak to Marcus. He would contact our family lawyer. Later that day, Marcus knocked on the guest room door. Isabella, open the door. Let's talk. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. I didn't open the door. Go away, Marcus. Don't be ridiculous, he shouted. Open the door. No, I said calmly. He banged on the door, then left. In that moment, I felt scared, but I also felt powerful. I had said no. A few days later, my father came with the lawyer. They met Marcus in the study. I stayed upstairs. Later, my father came to me. It's done, he said. Marcus has agreed to leave. He signed everything. He will get nothing. Just like that. We had proof, he said, and he knew it. That afternoon, Marcus packed his bags. He didn't look at me as he left. The door closed behind him, and suddenly it was quiet. But this time, the quiet didn't feel empty. It felt peaceful. The weeks that followed were hard. I cried. I walked in the gardens. I thought about everything. Why did I fall for him? Maybe because I was lonely. Maybe because I wanted love so badly. But I learned. I joined a pottery class. I wasn't good at first, but it felt real. I spent time with my real friends, the ones who loved me, not my last name. I volunteered at an animal shelter. The dogs didn't care if I was rich. They just wanted kindness. Slowly, I healed. The pain didn't disappear, but it got smaller, and I grew stronger. I learned that my value isn't in my bank account. It's in my heart, my kindness, my strength. Sometimes people ask me, will you ever love again? Maybe, maybe not. But I know one thing. I will never lose myself again. This is my story. Yes, he married me for my money. Yes, he broke my heart. But he did not break me. And maybe you,